It's been said that most people die at age 25 and wait to be buried at age 65. So the big question is this: how are entrepreneurs like us who believe in God and read the Bible preparing for the financial danger that the bankers and brokers do not want us to know about? How do we resist a life that's less than we are promised and hold on to our dreams so that we can live in fullness every day? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the secret. My name is Nate Scott, and welcome to the Life is Rich podcast.
Hello, this is Nate Scott, author of Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, and welcome to the Life is Rich podcast. In today's Life is Rich podcast, I'm going to share the KASH formula. I believe that everyone is waiting for something. Men and women are waiting for relationships, for children, for healing, for a home, for a job, or for a financial breakthrough. Stories of God's children waiting for these very same things are woven throughout the Bible. If you want to understand your own waiting in a way that preaches the gospel to yourself and to the watching world, then the Life is Rich podcast is for you. My personal mission is to live each day principle-centered, based on biblical teachings, and to be a person of value and positive influence. I use the Socratic method of teaching to teach you how to think versus what to think. Good formulas work just like good recipes. Take out a cookbook and follow directions, and you can make spinach quiche as good as the person who wrote the book. Follow a different set of directions, and you can make an apple pie. If you're careful, both the pie and the quiche will come out fine, even though they are very different things to make. So what's the point? The kind of formula you follow determines the outcome you'll have. Let me say that again. The kind of formula you follow determines the outcome you'll have. You see, formulas of one kind or another apply to nearly every aspect of your life. A tailor followed a pattern to make that dress or suit you're wearing. A builder built your house from a set of plans that were based on sound formulas and methods. A programmer employed a set of formulas to design the computer program you use to balance your checkbook. But for all those formulas to work and give good results, in other words, to be successful, they had to be followed carefully. There's an old joke about a pharmacist who was grinding a prescription that called for as much strychnine as you could put on the face of a dime. He didn't have a dime at the time, so he used 2 nickels. Sound like something you would do? Well, unfortunately, that's about how carefully some people follow the success formulas they've said they learned. But let me tell you something. If I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. But if I involve you, that's the only way that you truly learn. Bet you'd hate to be the one taking that prescription, wouldn't you? Let's talk about cashing in on your success. If you will follow what I like to call the KASH formula, success will come to you. I didn't say success might come. I said it will come to you. How can I be sure of that? Because the KASH approach utilizes only natural laws, and natural laws, as you now know, are totally predictable. So what is this KASH formula? Simple. Capital K, knowledge, plus capital A, attitudes, plus capital S, skills, plus capital H, habits, equal success. Knowledge plus attitudes plus skills plus habits equals success. It's simple to understand this formula, but implementing it may be another thing entirely for some people. It may require a radical change in some of your lives in order for KASH to generate cash for you, if that's your objective. And if the formula isn't effectively and rigorously applied over time through these changes in your own personality, you will never receive its full benefit. Now, before going on, it might be useful exercise for you to evaluate yourself and your current situation in relation to the KASH formula. Right now, ask yourself, what additional knowledge do I need to be successful? How can I improve my mental attitudes to be successful? What additional skills do I need to be successful? What new habits should I develop to be successful? How can I improve my success personality? Take a moment, write your answers on something, and then keep them handy as you listen to and through the rest of this section. You may want to clarify your answers as you listen along, and that's okay. You may even have to make some radical changes in the changes you've determined to make. Knowledge is job one. Knowledge is job one in anybody's success program. If you want to make big money selling hog futures, for example, you better know all there is to know about hogs and what increases hog yields. Then you'd better learn as much as you can about hog farming. And it wouldn't hurt to know all about futures in general, right? That's not to say you have to be the expert in your field to be successful. Remember the Mayan chiefs? They didn't know all there was to know about the stars, but they knew enough to make them seem a lot smarter than the rest of the people. And that gave them the power they needed to be successful. Like the Mayans, you only need enough knowledge to know when to follow someone else's advice or when to forge ahead of your own. After that, your knowledge level continues to grow as you learn more of the things you need to know to become an expert in your field. There's a lot more you have to do to reach your success goal with KASH, but you have to start somewhere. And don't try to implement this formula by using only one or two of its ingredients. It's all or nothing here. An apple pie recipe won't taste much like an apple pie if you leave out the sugar and the apples, now will it? All you'll end up with is a dish full of crust. So what kind of knowledge do you need? The knowledge I'm talking about here is very specific, in a fairly limited field. If you're getting into income properties, for example, you really don't need to learn a lot about life insurance, except for personal policies. If you want to buy a hog farm, you don't need to worry about apartment dwellings. But what if you don't know what you're interested in besides money or security, which is essentially the same thing? If that's the case for you, you've got some studying ahead of you. Learn all you can about the different ways to make money. Give yourself a general background, then decide which area you want to specialize in. Once you pick your specialty, learn all there is to know about it. If you want to become rich through hogs, learn all about the different breeds. Learn which area of the country produces the best hogs. Learn about feed. Learn about management. In short, learn as much as you can. So where does the knowledge come from? There are hundreds of ways you can gain the knowledge you need for your particular field. The first source is a good library or bookstore. This podcast is an excellent resource, as well as Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, or YouTube. Suppose you want to invest in income properties. Where do you go? First, you can pick up one of the many good books on how to be successful with income properties. Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth has a few listed in the write-up, but there are many available. After you've read and made notes about the first book, see if it recommends any others. Is there bibliography? Many authors will indirectly recommend other authors by quoting them directly or by citing their books. Find the experts. Reading is only the beginning. Talk to the experts in your area. What's the situation where you live? What approaches have been tried that work? What other experts would they recommend you talk to? Some experts require a fee for their time, and this may or may not be worth it to you. Many will help someone just getting started without charging anything. I do that on many occasions. These experts will go a long way towards supplementing the information you picked up from the books. Knowledge is everywhere. Knowledge is where you find it, and that is practically everywhere. If income properties is what you're interested in, start studying the income properties in your area. Watch the classified ads in the newspaper. Go out to the properties and compare their location, their condition, their price. That's exactly what I did back in 2001 in that 90-day window as I was leaving the military, when I went out and applied what I learned in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. In that 90-day window, I began by looking in the newspaper. I came across one property. It was a single family home. I then came across another property that had the same phone number, and it was a townhome. I made an offer for both and put together a package deal. Then I went back to the paper and continued to look. And then I came across this apartment complex. Well, as I continued to read and study, I saw it was a 40-unit apartment complex, and it was located about 3 hours away from where I was at. I had no idea about where it was at. But what I did was I ran the numbers on paper, and it made sense to me. And I said that if I go out here and look at this property and I confirm these numbers, that I would have to figure out how to make it happen. Well, I did exactly that. I looked at the property. I compared the location. I looked at the conditions. I looked at the price. And lo and behold, I put together the deal and I acquired this 40-unit apartment complex. It was that 90-day time frame in which I took massive action that laid the foundation for me to make my first million by 32. You'll probably be surprised to discover how much you can learn in a short period of time from the 6 blocks around your own home or office. All it takes is a desire and a little bit of legwork. Now, here's the best kind of knowledge. After you've investigated the sources that I've shared within this podcast, you're ready to move into the best kind of knowledge there is, and that's experience. Remember, if I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. But if I involve you, you'll learn. This is where real knowledge comes from. When you begin to try out your new ideas, more than likely you'll discover how much more you don't know. But that is knowledge also. You know, I was listening to Miles Monroe, and he said that knowledge is information. He said that understanding is comprehension, but wisdom. He said that wisdom is applied knowledge. You see, so when you start to act on your plan, you may want to go back and repeat the knowledge cycle. Read the books again. Listen to the podcast again. Watch the videos again. See the experts again. Try again.
Thank you for listening to the Life is Rich podcast. I'm your host, Nate Scott. Remember, if I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. But if I involve you, you'll learn. One way to get involved is to rate, subscribe, and leave feedback on iTunes by answering the question, what did you like best about what you heard? One of the problems faced by Christian entrepreneurs striving for success is having an alliance with like-minded people working together for a common, definite objective. Would you like to join a community of Life is Rich soldiers? If so, please rate and subscribe to the Life is Rich podcast on iTunes and text GROWTH to 904-204-0846 for the link and this month's free book. Again, please rate and subscribe to the Life is Rich podcast and text GROWTH to 904-204-0846. Again, my name is Nate Scott. Take care and be blessed.